Hey friends, welcome to Cascade Gaming Diablo 4 Season 3 Nightmare Dungeon Review. So what I'm doing in this video is I'm rewatching a vault that I've done previously. I'm going through, looking at what I did right, what I did wrong, and hopefully using it to improve my skills for future dungeons and give you some helpful hints and tips and tricks to get through your vaults a lot easier. So we've just run into our first group of enemies in our level 30 Vault of Cinders. It took me a second to remember that. And what you need to notice, first of all, is the mob density. So the mob density in these is much larger than regular Nightmare dungeons. So what I recommend is having a little bit of crowd control, maybe having a distance spell or ability that you can use, or some minions that you can throw down, just to help thin out the ranks a little bit so you don't get completely swarmed. And you'll see this in a lot more effect once we actually enter the cauldron. That's the main one in this one. All right. So as you can see, I've got my hydras. So I've got an enchantment on my offhand that lets me have an additional hydra. So that's 2 hydras. And then in my enchantment skill slot, I have hydra in there as well, which means that when I spend a certain amount of mana, I get a 3rd hydra. So 3 hydras. So that's 15 heads, I think, which is crazy. I've also got 2 stacks of meteor that I can use, as you can see on my bar down below. This is because I'm wearing the staff or coronet. You get this from the beast in the ice, so make sure you do a couple of runs in there if you are a sorcerer and you're going for a fire build. This fire build, I'm focusing on meteor and hydra, so it's a build that I'm making myself. If you've watched my videos, you know that I don't necessarily like to follow guides. I generally like to play around with builds that aren't particularly conventional or things that I make myself. So I'm trying this out, seeing if it works, and if it does work, I will upload a link to the build a little bit later on. Okay, so I've come straight into the dungeon, straight into a mob of enemies. First thing to do after you've taken out that initial mob is to grab your stacks of Zoltan's Warding. So every time you hit a trap in here, you will remove 1 stack of the warding. You need to keep in mind that you need 15 stacks at the end of the dungeon in order to get all of the rewards. Okay, so now we're in here. One of the first things I really like to do in these dungeons is to try and bottleneck my enemies as much as I can. So you're going to see a lot of me throwing down hydras and meteors in doorways. That's basically trying to keep the enemies away from me as far as possible. So we've got our first trap room. Very exciting. Since it's Vault of Cinders, everything's on fire, which makes me perfectly comfortable. Being a fire sorc, it's fantastic. So keep in mind that little square on the floor of the room that we just ran into was a trap, so if you run into those, it will remove a stack of the warding. And you'll see that I've got one removed already. But that's okay, we only need 15, so we're perfectly comfortable. Now, we've run into a pack of elites. These horrible Vizier constructs, man, they drive me insane. So you will notice that when you first run into them, if you try and throw down an AoE, they will dodge out of that. So just wait for them to do their first dodge and then throw down your AoE on them, because they're very much like the player characters. They get that one shot of evade and then they have to kind of stay where they are. And you see that barrel that just exploded? That counts as a trap too. So keep an eye out for trapped barrels, trapped chests, and also trapped obelisks as well. So your best bet is to like throw down a distance spell or ability onto those, or get your construct to go over and destroy them, just so that you don't hit them and it doesn't remove any stacks of your warding. Okay, so we're cleaning up now, grabbing all of our shattered stones. Make sure you do clear out as much of the dungeon as you can and grab those shattered stones, because you will be using them for a lot of crafting. So even once you've created like all of your upgrade stones and things like that, you'll still use them for making sigils. Alright, so we're in our second trapped room now. This one's quite interesting. It's got the traps right in the middle, so just keep an eye out. Make sure you don't get hit by any of the flying projectiles. There are enemies encircling the treasure in the middle of this room. So this room it's just a treasure. It's not anything particularly important, but there's a lot of gold in there. So if you're low on gold, you really do want to keep an eye out and grab these traps in here. I do think I lose a couple more stacks of the warding in this one. So obviously I've mistimed a couple of dodges and things like that. Alright, so we're just doing a little dart around the room. There you go. See, lost one of those ranks of warding. Yeah, so we're just kind of trying to clear things up so that we can go through the room and comfortably get the treasure that's in the middle. Otherwise, if you don't clear the room, you're going to get swamped with enemies on every single side, and they will inevitably knock you into a trap somewhere. So you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. So we've still got a couple of little random enemies there. We hit a barrel, dodged out of the way of that very nicely. So we're down to 27 stacks, and I think this is what we finished the dungeon on, but I can't be sure because it's been quite a few days since I've run this one. Alright, so now we're in a hallway. Hallways are fantastic for bottlenecking your enemies. So see where I've got the elites sitting all there together? You can throw down your AoEs, you can throw your enemies, your minions into there. You can do your distant attacks and sort of keep them as far away from you as possible. Because if you do get the viziers, they like to throw down poison like there's no tomorrow. Alright, just chucking a point into my Paragon board, which I've kind of laid out in my mind. So I've got a general idea of where I want to go and what I want to build here. But I just need to see if it works properly before I share it with you and be like, oh my god, this is a great build. Alright, we're in another trapped room. So we take out that tower first because it's like, if it explodes on you, again, stack of warding gets removed. Okay, so we're in the trapped hallway. The trapped hallway is one of my favorite things because you've got the chests here, which may or may not be trapped. You've got the trapped floor. You've got the trapped shooting projectiles. It's crazy. So there was a trapped chest. So keep in mind that the chests can be trapped. Radiant chest, fantastic, not trapped. So let's grab all of that gold. You know, grab whatever gear drops that you want. I tend to really only pick up sort of orange and yellows, but not all the yellows, just depends on how I feel. So now we've got another group of enemies to attack. It's a horrible succubi. So let's get some fire down on those and hopefully they disappear. Keep in mind, all the poison that they put on the ground will deplete your health even if everyone's dead. So try and just wait a hot minute before you jump into all the middle of fire to grab all of the fire poison to grab all of your goodies. Alright, and so we've still got, so the hydras actually are really handy because they can actually telegraph when there are enemies further away. So it gives you like a bit of a guide as to where your next pack is going. So I think with druids, if you've got like companion pets, they should be doing the same, and necromancer minions should be doing the same as well. So don't forget to pick up those shattered stones. Don't forget to dodge that spiky trap on the floor. Nobody wants to stand in spikes. It's generally considered bad for your health. So we've got some more elites just cruising on through. These wretched constructs, man. The ones that give poison. Oh my god, they drive me insane. Even worse than the ones that drop fire. Hey, we've got tier 65 complete. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Alright, so grab all the health pots, grab all your shattered stones, your gold, all those bits and pieces, anything that's going to be valuable to you. Let's keep going. Alright, so we've got a mini room here. I think the next room is a trap room, so let's wait and see what the dungeon has to offer. Alright, we do have a trap room. So these ones are nice and fun. There's nothing really here aside from, again, gold. So if you lower gold, do the little dot around the edge, around the middle here, so you can get your cash money. Just keep in mind, in the next room, there will be enemies that want to squish you. So make sure that you try and take them out as quickly as you can. Otherwise, they'll come into that doorway and knock you straight back into the traps and remove ranks of your Zoltan's warding, which you do not want because you definitely want those 3 chests right at the end. So keep a close eye on your health. I feel like I'm telling you too many things at once. It's like, do this, do this, do this. No, keep a close eye on your health as well, just because of, you know, obviously all the stuff that they put on the floor. Because you're not going to have a good time if you, like, clear the room and then you find yourself dying because you're standing in poison or fire. Okay, so we've got a few spare enemies. Got a sneaky trap off to the side. We've got a health pool, but I don't think we need to grab that. But we do have an interesting chest here. And of course it's cursed. So, with the cursed chests, if you're in a nice little room like this, you want to stick with the bottleneck idea. So unless you've got like a lot of AoE and you're quite tanky, where you can stay in the room and sort of, you know, smack things into the ground, that's fine. But if you are a bit more squishy, like a Sorc, standing in the doorway and just bottlenecking things, so throwing down your hydras, throwing down your meteors, doing whatever you can to stop everything from coming as far out of the room as possible is a really good idea. So as you can see, we've already got mastery, which is fantastic. So you know you get your extra gold, your extra items from doing that. So bonus. Luckily, the enemies that have popped out here only basically, so we've got a waller, a poisoner, and one that did frost. So as long as you've got the minions up, you're pretty good for, you know, staying alive here. So we've got a tainted succubus, another poison one. Just keep in mind that a lot of the enemies do hop like that after you kill them. So there we go. We've completed our cursed chest event. Keep in mind the fancy looking chests, the health pools, basically anything has a potential to be trapped and spark one of those events. So we took down the totem, the construct, I don't know what it's called. We took it down anyway. It's down, we don't have to worry about it. But do keep an eye out for those, because I've gotten caught out with those way too many times. Right, we've got some nice AoE. So this is one of the sort of hallways that's like a dual room. I generally like to clear both of them just for the extra stones and the potential for decent gear. And also, honestly, I just really like smacking down the Vizier constructs because they drive me insane. Because they're the worst. It's like, if you die to a Vizier construct. Okay, alright. We've got the end room. We've got the Interrogator as our main boss. Now, for this room, we've got rows of fire like this, and then you've got fire darts down along the side and spikes. I like to stand somewhat in the middle, like, and in the middle strip, which is a little bit wider, facing this way. The reason for that is if a stack of poison goes onto me, I can dart out of the way. Alright, now let's see. Where is the Interrogator? Here he is. So we're just throwing down meteor. He does not like meteor because it explodes him. So there we go. So the boss is down. Just keep in mind, you do need to kill the other enemies. Otherwise, you can potentially still die even after you've killed the Interrogator, because the dungeon doesn't technically end until you open that grey chest. So just for dramatic effect, I do like to open all the other chests and get all of my goodies before I officially finish the dungeon and put points into my glyphs. So there we have it, a Vault of Cinders, level 30, complete. So, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. I had a lot of fun playing. I actually had a lot of fun dissecting what I did right and what I did wrong, and I guess reviewing my own performance. It felt really good, so I'm happy with that. There are definitely other ones where I've messed up big time, and I'm going to review those ones too. So if you'd like to watch the hilarity unfolding live, you can go and check out my Twitch, and please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. I love you guys, and I will catch you again really soon. Bye for now.